Hello, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. My name's Liv and today's video is going to be my TBR for October. But before I get into that, I wanted to quickly talk about the books that I read in September. Normally I do like a separate video wrapping up, but I didn't read enough books, I don't think, to really justify having a whole other couple of minute video, so I thought I would just talk about them at the start of this video instead. In September I was doing Book and Roast's Magical Readathon, The Aurelian Path, which I did technically pass because she said you only had to read a minimum of 2 books. I was meant to read 7, but it just wasn't a good reading month for me. But I'm still happy, despite all of the books I put down and all of the days I didn't spend reading, that I still did manage to read 2 books, which I'm quickly going to talk about now. First up, I read Ember in the Ashes by Sabathia. So this book is a young adult book, surprise surprise, that is all I read and all I recommend. It's about Layla, who's a scholar, and her people live under the harsh rule of the Martial Empire. And one night her brother is arrested for treason by the Martial Empire. When her brother's getting arrested, some of her loved ones are killed and her brother is taken away. So she makes kind of a deal with this group of people that claim that they can rescue her brother. But as kind of a trade, she has to go undercover as a slave at the Martial Empire's kind of like elite military school to spy on them, and that is where we meet Elias, and he's kind of the Martial Empire's military school's like top candidate, but we find out he is the kind of least willing and doesn't really believe in what he's being trained to do. So their stories kind of intertwine. Leia's motivations in this book I love. She's such a strong character and just so motivated and so loyal and loving towards her brother. And Elias is such a good character to read from as well, because he's like morally grey, morally kind of ambiguous, and you read his kind of conflict where he's really questioning what he's doing, but as well he still has that loyalty to his friends, and because he's just built up a bond with some of them for so long while training at the military school. So it's good to kind of read that dual kind of conflict of his perspective. I love this book. It kept me on my toes. There was lots of good action bits and fight scenes, morally grey characters and supernatural creatures and lore building. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading the sequel, and I rated this book 5 stars. Next, I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is my very first Colleen Hoover book. This is a thriller, and it is about Loan, who is a struggling author who is about to get kicked out of her apartment and really financially struggling. And then she makes a deal with a guy called Jeremy Crawford, who is the husband of this best-selling, super famous author Verity Crawford, who's currently really unwell and unable to finish her best-selling series. So Loan is asked to finish off the series for her. So Loan goes to the Crawford's home to kind of go through Verity's office, read through all like her notes about the book series and see if there was any ideas or where the book was going or if she had any plans. And when she's digging through Verity's office, she finds an unpublished autobiography filled with all of these kind of dark and twisted secrets. This book is so messed up, so you get to read along with the chapters from Verity's autobiography, where she kind of details all of these kind of really messed up and dark secrets about herself. And yeah, this book had me on the edge of my toes. It was so mind-twisty and scary, and I felt like I had shivers reading the whole thing. Yeah, it kept me on the edge of my seat. Also, I didn't mention when I was giving the blurb, Loan kind of has a thing for Jeremy as well and doesn't know whether or not she should tell him about all the stuff that Verity's been writing about in her biography. So that romance was really good as well. I enjoyed that because I know Colleen Hoover's like known to be a romance writer, but I don't usually read just romance, so I'm glad I picked up this one because I don't think I would have liked it if it was just the romance, but the thriller aspect just makes it all the better. This book messed me up. I was thinking about it so long after I read it. The ending is such like a ambiguous, twisty end that I can't stop thinking about it, and yeah, this book messed me up. I loved it. It was 5 stars. I'm gonna give 2 honorable mentions. I read a little bit of Legendary by why did I forget her name? Stephanie Garber, and I read 100 odd pages of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I'm not going to DNF these books forever. This one, I really love the writing. I can see why people were like, oh, it's going to be a classic, it's great. The writing is beautiful, just like all of V.E. Schwab's writing, but the pacing is just a bit slow, and I think I was feeling a bit slumpy, so I didn't want the slow pace to kind of make me hate the book. And Legendary, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm a mood reader, and I just, I got pretty far in actually. How far in? I got 194 pages. Yeah, I don't think I was feeling it at the time, so I'm going to put these 2 down and pick them up sometime this year eventually. So I thought I would just mention I read about 100, almost 200 pages of each of these books as well. Sadly did not finish them. Now that that's out the way, let's get on to my actual TBR for October. So I thought I would do another readathon maybe, but there was one I was going to do and I just couldn't find the right books for the prompts, and it was also complicated, so I'm just going to go with some trusty prompts that I have written, and I took some suggestions off Twitter as well, so thank you to everyone who suggested stuff for me. I wrote them, I put them in a little cup because I don't have an actual jar, and I'm just going to pick prompts out of here and find books right now that will match these prompts. I'm going to pick 5 prompts today. I've got about 15 in here. So please let me know in the comments if you have any prompts, because I'll keep probably just adding to this. And then every other month I will do a TBR jar video. So if you have any suggestions, they're very much needed. Let's pick the first one. Okay, hope I didn't grab 2. There we go, put this down. Okay, the first prompt I got for October is the next book in a series. So like a series I've started, read the next book along. Okay, this is pretty easy prompt because I've started like a million series and never finished it. Let me have a quick look and see what I can come up with. So for the next book in the series prompt, I'm going to be reading Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd and final book in the Dark Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I obviously can't tell you about this book because spoilers, so let me put that down, and I'm going to tell you about the first book, which is A Darker Shade of Magic. So this is about Kel, and he's an Antari, a rare magician. I also almost said a musician, and he has the power to travel between the different parallel Londons that there are. There's red, grey, black, and he also has kind of like a little side gig where he smuggles kind of items between, which he's not meant to be doing, and a deal goes wrong one day and he escapes to Grey London, where he meets Delilah, who's kind of this thief, and she robs him, but then helps fight against a dangerous enemy and saves him, and the 2 of them kind of are whisked off on this adventure where they are fighting together to save the world from these dark magics that is brewing. I love V.E. Schwab. This series is so magical and fun. Delilah and Kel are both amazing characters to read from, and the series has been super adventurous and magical so far, and I'm kind of excited to see where it's going to end up in this final book. I don't know what's going to happen. The second book, A Gathering of Shadows, ended on a really big cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see it concluded in the 3rd book. Pick out the second prompt. Let's see what it is. I'm going to place that down. Okay, the second prompt is, read a book that is popular on TikTok. This is actually another easy prompt because there's a lot of popular books on TikTok that I have. You know what? I got it. Okay, this one. Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Manischello. I definitely butchered that name. So I'm going to do this one for my popular on TikTok book. I see this a lot on TikTok because it's an enemies to lovers book. I'm going to read the blurb a bit because I can't really remember what this is about. It's witches. Yeah, that's right. Amelia and Victoria, and they're witches that live secretly among humans. One night Victoria doesn't come home and Amelia discovers she's been murdered, So Amelia vows to find her sister's killer and seek vengeance, even if it means calling upon a dark magic that has been long forbidden. And Amelia then meets Wrath, one of the wicked princes of hell. Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. Pun unintended. And she's been warned against him since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving a series of murders on the island, of which Victoria is the latest victim. Yes, this sounds awesome. I think the sequel is out or coming out. Wait, let me look that up. Yes, I was right. So the sequel, called Kingdom of the Cursed, comes out on October 26th. Perfect. So if I like this book, then hopefully I can pick up the sequel straight away. 3 time, third prompt. Let's see what I got. The third prompt is, read a book from an author which you have never read before. I have a lot of new authors on here this year that I have purchased. I don't know where to start. There's so many. You know what, actually, I've got it. I'm going to read this one, which is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I thought I would pick this up because, one, I've never read an Angie Thomas book before, so it fits the prompt, and I already have 2 kind of fantasy books, so some contemporary to break that up is good because I don't want too much fantasy. So let's read the blurb together. This is about, I know a little bit, but not like heaps about this book. It's about a Star. She's 16 and she's caught between 2 worlds, the poor black neighbourhood where she lives and the fancy suburban prep school she attends. And the balance is shattered when Star witnesses the fatal shooting of her unarmed friend Khalil at the hands of a police officer. Then the death makes national news. Some are calling him a thug, drug dealer and a gangbanger. Star's best friend at school suggests he may have had it coming. And when it becomes clear the police have little interest in investigating the incident, protesters take to the street and Star's neighbourhood becomes a war zone. What everyone wants to know is what really went down that night, and the only person alive who can answer that is Star. But what Star does or does not say could destroy her community. It could also endanger her life. So I thought this would be a good book to read. Very prevalent issues that are brought up in this book with what's happening at the moment in the world. So this sounds like it's going to be a great read. I know it's a very, very popular read, and I heard that it covers the topic of police brutality quite well. Number 4, let's pick out another prompt and see what we're working with. So the 4th prompt is, oh no, god damn it, I don't want to get this one, a classic. I don't like classic books. There are a few though that I want to check out. I have Rebecca, which I know is meant to be a good one, but I don't know, I don't think I'm in the mood to read that one. Okay, I found the perfect one for this that I already had on my Kindle, which was very convenient, and that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelby. This is a classic, and I thought it was also a good idea because it's spooky season, and this is a spooky book. So I think we all know what Frankenstein is about. It's set in the 18th century, I think, and it's about a young scientist called Victor Frankenstein, and he creates a monster in this kind of unorthodox experiment. And as we know, the monster kind of comes to life. There's not many classics I ever have the interest in reading, but if I were to read one, Frankenstein is on the list of ones that I did want to check out, and was already on my Kindle, so hopefully this is a good spooky read for October. The 5th and final prompt. Let's go in and pick it out, see what we get. Okay, the final prompt for October is a book you're scared of reading. So the person that suggested this said could be in size, or like a book that you're intimidated by because it's overhyped and you might not like it, or if it's just generally scary. So for this book, I'm intimidated by both the size of it and the book itself because it's so hyped on TikTok and all over the book community that I'm scared I'm really not going to like it. And this one is this one here, perfect and handy to be right there. That is House of Blood and Earth by Sarah J Maas, the first book in the Crescent City series. This book is a chunker. Let me actually look it up how big this book is, because it's like a lot of pages. Yeah, this is 800 pages long. Probably maybe one of the biggest books I own. It's so big. I swear every time Sarah J Maas writes a book, it just gets bigger and bigger. So this book is about, I forgot her name, Bryce, that's it. And she has one of her closest friends murdered by a demon, and the city's leaders command her to investigate and find out what happened. So while she's investigating, they assign her an enslaved fallen angel hunt to make sure she does. And as she's investigating, she has to resist her attraction to Hunt, who shadows her every step, and she finds herself following a trail that leads deep into her own dark past. This book is so intimidating, and I really don't want it to be one that I don't like because it's been overhyped. I really want to get in with the hype and the ship that everyone ships and talks about all the time on TikTok. So I hope I like it. I hope you enjoyed this little September mini wrap up / my TBR for October. Again, if you have any prompts to add in my prompter, that would be very much appreciated. I would like to continue to collect them and add them in. And thank you for watching. Let me know if you've read any of the books that are on my TBR, and let me know what your reading plans for October are, if you have any spooky reads planned. I hope you guys have an awesome spooky reading month for October, filled with some great reads, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!